Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're finally going to be talking about the foster to adopt process. So if you've been watching any of my videos, you will know that I've been going through the foster to adopt process. Where I am right now is I'm currently waiting for my home study. So hopefully that will be coming up soon, and I hope to be licensed very soon after that to be a foster home, foster to adopt home. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. So I have some notes. I'm only going to be going over the part from like the very beginning up to the home study. I want the home study to be its own separate video, its own separate experience. So I'm only going to go up to that point. And also I live in the state of Texas, so I can only speak to the rules or kind of the process in Texas. I'm not really sure about other states. I would expect that other processes are a little bit different. Just like other agencies may be different from the one that I'm working with. I'm not going to name the agency. There are some details of my process that I want to keep private just for privacy and safety reasons. So I'm not going to be going in depth as far as like all of that stuff. But I am going to be as detailed as I can be as far as the process in general. So how I got started with the foster to adopt process, I started considering it probably about a year ago, and it was a little rocky getting started. So I started trying to go directly through the state. So you can go on the website, or you used to. I mean, you can still go on the website, but you can't do the process through the state website anymore. But at the time, I went through the state website. I signed up for orientation to become a licensed foster home straight through the state. And I signed up for orientation, was waiting on my orientation date. A week before orientation was supposed to start, everyone got an email saying that they were going to delay the classes because of COVID, and they would let us know whenever they would start doing classes again. So I waited probably about a couple months, and I didn't hear anything. So I emailed the contact person, and they said, we're still not doing it, we're gonna let you know. So I was like, okay. And then like eventually they posted on the website that they just weren't gonna be doing the classes anymore. So then what I did after that is I started looking into more of an agency. How I did that was I just essentially just Googled and just looked for foster to adopt or foster care agencies in my area. I kind of narrowed it down to a few, and what basically made me choose the one I ended up going with was just, number one, how long they've been an agency, their reviews, just kind of like the overall vibe that I got from like watching videos and kind of like seeing the experiences that other people had and just stuff like that. And then what I also really liked about the agency I chose was that they were really into stability. And I know like the foster care system is just notorious for being unstable for children. They move around a lot and all that stuff. They really were pushing for trying to be as consistent and stable for the children as possible. They're really into trying to match you up with a child that would fit best for your family to try to decrease the disruptions of placements and stuff like that. So I really like that. I've had experiences with foster children before. I've been around foster children before, and I know people who actually do foster care and have opened their home to foster care. And so I know that it can be a very unstable and disruptive process. So I did really like that that was one of their main focus. So after I found an agency that I wanted to work with, I filled out like just like a basic application. So the basic application, they basically just wanted to know like what your name is, your address, and I have my notes here just kind of so I can remember whether you're single or married, what language you speak, and just very, very basic information. And so after you submit that, you kind of sign up for the orientation. So I did the orientation, and that's basically where they talk about the agency, they talk about the process or how long the process is going to be. And I'm just going to tell you before you get started, if you haven't started already, the process is not short. Like, you're not going to get licensed in a month or 2 months. 3 months is super, super fast. At least takes 3 to 6 months to 8 months. And you can do the process at your own pace. So if you kind of like are doing the process and you get a little busy, the only deadlines you really have are like the training, because they're on certain dates, or the CPR, because those are only given on certain dates, or, you know, things like that. Things that involve like the live training, Zoom classes and stuff like that. So yeah, so I scheduled and did the orientation. Like I said, they just talk about the agency, the process, the expectations, and then that's your opportunity to ask any basic questions that you may have about the agency. You know, really just try to get as much information about them as you can, because you want to know, because you're going to be working with this agency very, very, very closely. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable with them and that their views and values align with yours, because you're going to be working with them a lot. They're basically going to be your village in raising this child for a short amount of time or a long amount of time, or, you know, through adoption or whatever, what have you. So after the orientation session, you can move on, if you choose, move on to the first part of like the actual application. And so like the first part of the application, it's more in depth. You do things like an assessment, and that basically it basically asks you like what you can handle. So like if the kids have been in a situation to where they've been trying to be like YouTube proper when I explain this, where they've been exposed to certain substances, if you're able to handle that, whether like in utero or whatever, if you're able to handle that, if they have any like developmental issues or behavioral issues, or have been, you know, just in different situations that these children may come from, they ask you like which ones are you able to handle and which ones you're not. And my suggestion is, like, sometimes when you're filling out this self-assessment, you want to try to like click yes for everything, but keep in mind you want to be as honest as you can, because you don't want to put that you can handle something that you know deep down that you can't, because that adds to disruptions, that adds to disruptive placements, because you put something down that you really couldn't handle. So I know it's kind of exciting, you want to, you know, just get started, you want to be open to everything, but try to be as honest, or as like keep your expectation realistic as far as like what you can handle in your lifestyle and stuff like that. They'll ask you like for like background check information, what else? Health info. So you'll have to get like a physical. It basically says that you're healthy enough to foster to adopt. If you go to like a counselor or therapy, you have to get like a statement from there, and then you have to provide like every document that was ever assigned to you, like ever since you were born. So like you have to provide like your birth certificate and all of those personal documents. You have to provide like your car insurance and registration. You have to, if you're married, you have to provide like your marriage certificate, or if you're divorced, your divorce decree. You have to submit like check stubs to show that you're able to financially take care of these children without any assistance, which if you do foster care, you do get like a stipend, and that stipend depends on the amount of children, if they have any like developmental issues and all that stuff. So you have to provide like financial statement. After you fill out the first part of your application, then you kind of sit down with the agency, and they kind of just try to get to know you better. They'll ask you questions, and that's your opportunity to ask even more questions, because every step of the process you will have more questions. So they really, like, each step of the process you do have an opportunity to ask as many questions as you want. So after that, you move on to the training. You have these classes that you have to attend on certain days, and then you also have like the online classes that you have to do outside of the Zoom classes through like the state. That's part of the second, kind of like the second part of the application, is all the trainings, and then you have to upload all the completions. That's also the point where you do your CPR. If you're not CPR certified, they do provide CPR class at no cost to you, or at least the agency that I'm working with does it at no cost to me. So you do the CPR, first aid, and then you have to get your fire inspection and your HVAC inspection. So some fire inspections, and like I said, I can only speak to my area or my state. I had to get an HVAC inspection to precede my fire inspection. You have to come up with your evacuation plan if you live in like Tornado Alley, or down here we have hurricanes, or if you have like, if you live in a place that has like blizzards or like natural disasters. Also, in the second part of the application process, you also have to redo your self-assessment. So like for me personally, there were things that I put on my first self-assessment that I was like, I think that I can handle this. But then like after like going through the training and watching the videos and kind of going through the state trainings, I was like, okay, I don't know if I could really handle that. And that was the moment where I had to like really be like, okay, that may be a little bit too much for me. I don't think that I can handle that. So you just, and I'm sure that's something that's normal for everybody. They kind of go into it thinking that they can handle a certain thing, and then if you like actually think about it, and then when you hear from the agency and the trainers that do the training, when you actually hear them talk about it and give you like real life experiences or real life stories that they've seen, that they've been through, then you kind of are like, okay, maybe that is a little much for me. Which is okay, because you want to have an accurate assessment to make sure that you are trying to be the best fit for what you need and what the child needs as well. After the second part of your application, you wait for, that's when you go back again. So like you narrow down your age ranges that you're willing to be that you're comfortable with. So at the very, very beginning, they kind of give you a range. So the ranges are, and this is not exact because I can't remember specifically what the age ranges were at the beginning. So like they were like really broad. So like 0 to 6, like 7 to 14, 14 to 18. But like after this training and after the second part of the application, that's when you move to more of like, okay, I want 3 to 6, or I want 10 to 12, or I want, you know, an infant. That's where you like really narrow it down and all that stuff. And so then you submit all that stuff, and then you have to wait for the second part of your application to be reviewed so that you can move on to home study. That's where I am right now. I'm waiting for the second part of my application to be reviewed so that I can move on to home study. I'm very, very excited about that. I'm kind of getting a little antsy, even though like I knew that this process would take a long time, but it's just like I'm at the end and I'm like so close, like I'm right there. So I'm getting a little anxious and stuff like that. And yeah, so, and I think that like you get very excited as well because you have to have certain stuff for your home study. Like you have to have a bed, and you have to have like a car seat for like whatever age they are. If they're in a car seat, if they're in the car seat age and weight range, you have to have like a car seat and all that stuff. So I've been able to like buy those things. I've been looking at like clothes, but I don't know specifically what age I'm going to get. Like, I know the range, but I don't know specifically like what age I'm gonna get. So I haven't been going too crazy on clothes. The best thing that I've done is I've tried to get as much convertible stuff as I can. So like if you've seen any of my other videos, you see that I have a crib, but I made sure that I got a convertible crib, so it'll change from the crib to the toddler bed to the full-size bed and all that stuff. Like my stroller, if you've watched my review video of the Graco Mode's Nest, it's a convertible stroller from the infant to the toddler. I want to buy stuff like this. Part is exciting because, you know, kids may come with very little, and I want to be able to like have them come in and have things already here for them. But of course, we're gonna go shopping for all the things whenever they get here, so that experience will be fun as well. But that's where I am so far in the experience. I've been in this process for about 3 months now. When you're in it, like at times it seems like a very long time, and then at times it seems like it's like flown by. To not have the process be super long or prolonged and drawn out, make sure you stay on top of everything. Stay on top of everything. Like what I did is, at the first part of my application, you needed like I said, every document that was ever assigned to you since birth. And I made sure like that process took me about probably like a week or 2 to complete, but I had deadlines. Like I needed this by this day, and I need this by this day, and this has to be completed by this day. That really helped me stay structured. It helped me stay focused. It helped me make sure that I had everything that I needed to have, to make sure that everything was in its place of where it needed to be. So that's my best advice. If you're somebody who wants to get it done and get on top of it, give yourself deadlines. And that's exactly what I did. When is the next class? Oh, it starts in a day or 2. If you can do it, or if you can make that happen to get in that class, that's 2 days from now. That's what I did. I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know right now, but I'm gonna figure it out. But fortunately, I was in a situation to where I can make something happen like that. I don't know how other agencies are, but sometimes these classes are only like once a month. So if you don't get into that class that month, you have to wait the next month for when they offer it again. Especially like CPR. They only offer CPR like once or twice a month. So you have to get in those classes pretty quickly if you want to do it during that month that you're in. Making sure that, you know, the due dates that you make for yourself are met, and making sure you're very organized. If I wasn't organized, I probably would have missed dates that, you know, that would have been very important and could have possibly slowed down my process. Also, another thing that I've done so far is watch a lot of videos on YouTube. There's this documentary called Removed, and it's just a documentary based on like foster kids and how they kind of are bounced from place to place. I've not only like watched videos on foster parents, but I feel like it's very, very, very important to watch videos from foster children, like children who have been in foster care. I feel like it's very important to watch videos that they talk about, where they get to talk about their experience. And you'll find like how disruptive the foster care system can be. And that makes you kind of realize how you don't want to, it's just very eye-opening to see the foster kids' perspective. And I feel like it helps you get into perspective, or it helps you get a mindset of what type of foster parent you want to be, or what type of adoptive parent you want to be. Kind of seeing like what these kids have gone through or what they go through, and then like whenever they have positive experiences, how that really, really impacts their life, and how negative experiences impact their life. But from the videos that I've watched, being a positive experience in such a chaotic world means a lot to these kids. I'll mention some of the channels that I've been watching down below that are really good, and they'll be channels of foster parents and other people who have talked about the foster process as being on the side of being a foster child, so, or a child in foster care. So thank you guys for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions, don't forget to comment down below. Hopefully very, very soon I'll be doing a video on my home study and the home study experience, because very soon after that, hopefully I will be licensed. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.